What's up, Tricology family? Welcome back to another episode of the Tricology News Talk. And today we have another table discussion for you guys today. But before we get into the topics today, let me introduce you to two new guests on the show today. They are fellow filmmakers that I worked with in the past, but they also have their own business productions. Further than that, let me kind of introduce you to them, and they will give out projects they may have worked done before, or maybe upcoming projects that they might have upcoming soon. So let me first introduce Tieshia Brown, and second, Alejo Vega. Guys, welcome to the show.
How's it going, man?
All right. All right. Just kind of, guys, introduce yourselves. Share your social medias. What kind of projects that you guys have been done lately, and what upcoming projects should be looking after.
Cool. I'll let the ladies go first.
Okay, well, my name is Tieshia. In the industry, I go by Tieshia B. I am the owner and founder of Drip Productions, LLC. I am a writer, director. I produce and edit all my own films, every production that comes through that company. So far, well, the last project I was working on was the third episode of the Escape series that I have written called Escape the Unknown. But due to the pandemic, I was shut down. So, of course, everybody already knows once this is over, I will be getting back on Escape the Unknown project to finish that production out. After Escape the Unknown, I have a bunch of other productions, such as music videos. I'm gonna be doing a video with the youth. So if you know any youth that want to get into acting, reach out to me. You can find me and follow me on social media: Instagram drip.productions with an S 2020, Facebook Drip Productions, and my email is drip.productions2020@gmail.com. So yeah, that's me.
All right. The next person.
All right. My name's Alejo Vega. The head and co-founder of McPree Productions Films. You can find us on Instagram at McPree Productions Films, or my personal page, which is at Alejo McPree Vega. Pretty much productions that we had going on, there's pretty much none now due to the COVID thing, but I went ahead and made a short kind of parodying Indiana Jones and everything that's going on now with the pandemic. It actually premiered today at 12, so once you guys are done with this, go check it out. It's on YouTube now, it's live, and hopefully you guys enjoy it. So I want to thank Trico for bringing me on and making me part of the discussion today, so it's very interesting, man.
All right. So we have another guest that just arrived for today. He recently was on my show in a few episodes. It's on Daniel Martinez. So we have a technical difficulties with the mic in a second, but he'll be with us shortly. But further than that, let's get into the first topic for today, guys. So we recently had the news, ever since starting in March, all major productions has been canceled due to the COVID-19. And let me just make out a list of all the major productions that have been canceled, such as the 2 sequels to Avatar, The Batman, a biofilm about Elvis, Jurassic World Domination, The Matrix 4, Mission Impossible 7, the Netflix film Red Notice, and of course Marvel's newest flick for the MCU, Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. So they recently put out an article saying that this will be the how they're gonna map out the new rules in regards to when the productions do resume as a result of the aftermath of COVID-19. So they had to be real stricted in regards to to not only the safety, but as far as the cast, and also when it comes to the crew members, because most of the time in major projects they have a lot of crew members and they get a lot of crowded. no matter where you're filming at. It could be at a back lot or outside or inside somewhere, no matter what the locations be. So even on another note, um, Tyler Perry himself, who also Tyler Perry Studios, put out a saying note that all workers have to wear masks. If you think you have a virus or you think you may have a flu or sick, you cannot come into work. And also you had to get tested before you decided to come into the studio and work. So, and also I think of the fact, like, when it comes to like certain scenes, maybe like fighting scenes or certain like kissing scenes or like stuff like that's another thing. Like, you have to be in cautions in regards to like coming back to work from the COVID-19, and you don't know if this person might have a flu symptom, maybe test positive. Like, we don't know what's gonna happen. So my question for you guys is that when we do, when not only local and major studios go back to work, do you think will be a safe predicament to do what we do best in regards to like try to stay safety and try to stay healthy, try to do making the best film possible to try to tell a story of
Name a place that all men will eventually.
all right, who was that? But yeah, what are you guys' opinion? What are your guys' opinion on that?
We want to let Tieshia go first.
So I'm gonna just be going first all day.
Ladies first. Ladies first.
Well, I believe that when productions start back, when they do start back, everybody is gonna be a little hesitant at first, as far as like, you know, doing different scenes and getting into each other's personal space. Because to be quite honest with you, in production, like, in order for productions to work, majority of the time, you have to be in each other's personal space. That's the only way you're gonna get things up and running and be able to build the set and break down and make sure everything is on the same page. So as far as like, especially major productions, like, I don't want to say that it won't be a success if they're not in each other's space, but I just feel like that's how a lot of productions come out great. Like, no matter what, like, we're gonna be less than 6 feet apart. As far as like the kissing scenes and stuff, now that, yes, if anybody have to kiss anybody or hug anybody on set, yes, they do need to get tested. They need to make sure that they are clear. How I don't even want to go into how I really feel about this virus, because that's a whole nother topic for another day. I don't want to get political on your show, so I'm gonna try to keep it to a minimum. I just feel like if this is such a big thing now, I just want to know, my question is, how long is this gonna last post the pandemic? Like, is this gonna last where if people wear masks and it's getting tested, maybe 3 to 4 months after the pandemic, and then afterwards everybody go back to a sense of normalcy where nobody's really wearing masks, they're not stressing testing anymore? Like, that's just my question. But yeah, that's my take.
All right, the next person can give your state and opinions on it.
Well, basically, I mean, I believe safety is paramount first and foremost. So, you know, anything that has to deal with safety should be, you know, on the forefront of everything. And then once you go ahead and start opening things back up, you have to take the precautionary measures that, just like if you're like in the streets, you know, social distancing and stuff like that, wearing masks, you know, sanitizer, you know, PPE, all that stuff. But my main concern is, if you're going to open things up, obviously, you know, you got to open things up slowly. So, I mean, obviously big studio productions would have hundreds of people on crew and cast. It might be a little bit more difficult. My suggestion would probably be to open up smaller productions where the crew is not as big and you can practice more of that social distancing. But I mean, basically, I figure you should not have any type of production until there's, you know, more concrete evidence as that this thing is going away. So, I mean, you can have, 9 out of 10 times the cast and crew is for the most part young. So, young people are known to be asymptomatic. So, unless the testing comes around to where, you can get tested and, you don't have it, you have antibodies or whatever, then that would make a huge difference. But, when it comes down to the studio productions, I mean, I think, just time will tell. I mean, we're in an area where, nobody's really been in our lifetime. I think the last time something like this happened was that Spanish flu thing. I wasn't even around. My grandma wasn't even around before that. So, I mean, we're in uncharted territories when it comes to this stuff. So, I mean, obviously it's going to be up to Hollywood or the studios to put in place rules and regulations for, safety for their cast and crew. But, I mean, bottom line is, I mean, if they open up and you still don't feel safe enough to go there, that would be my biggest concern is, where do you draw the line between, safety and comfort, to do what you got to do? Because, I mean, yeah, okay, I'm a filmmaker and I'm also an actor, but if I got to report to a set and I'm not feeling safe, I'm not going to be able to give a great performance or even do my job if I'm on the crew side. So, I mean, I think it's going to take time, and it's going to take, the help of everybody to get this thing done. And, only time will tell. I mean, honestly, only time will tell what we go through with productions. I mean, me personally, I mean, we do a bunch of small productions, and Trico, you've worked with me on a bunch of them. And our crews are pretty much, a couple people. So, I mean, I figure if you can start with the smaller productions, like I said before, that don't have a lot of cast or crew, then that would be one way to start getting things up and running and, kind of seeing how it goes with them, since it'll be easier to do social distancing and stuff like that. But yeah, that's pretty much my take on it.
All right, Daniel, you with us now?
Yeah, finally got my audio working. Finally could hear what's going on. Yeah, it took me about a minute. Yo, what up, bro?
All right. So based on the first topic we just talked about, so productions being delayed to 2021, and if they do started to open up and resume productions, there might be some restrictions and guidelines. So what are your opinions and thoughts on it?
Well, given with everything that's going on, yeah, it's gonna be hella restrictions, hella guidelines on everything that's gonna happen. More or less what Alejo said, there's going to be start off with smaller productions and just kind of go from there, in my opinion, is what I'm thinking as well. Because a lot of people after this, just in regular life, forget movies, just like in regular life, people are going to be scared of going out, because this doesn't just change the industry, this just changes the world. So people are going to be scared to do almost anything at this point. So I guess just a good way to ease into it, start with small productions and kind of go from there and see what can be done from that. And then you have those movies and shows that are currently stuck in post-production, for example. I think that could be done very easily, and that could be maybe released later this year or early 2021. But everything that still needs to be filmed, everything that isn't for example, that's going to be difficult to discern at this point, because even after that, you still have, because right now you also have those issues with I don't know if you've heard, but you have what is it, Universal going against the major studio chains because they don't want to release their stuff and move in the theaters anymore. Now you have to contend with fast stuff, and again, this is going to be interesting how this goes. The delay is going to be interesting, in my opinion, or the delay is already interesting, and the aftermath of this. But I say start with small productions, and then when it comes to like releasing this, is going to be interesting, and that's really that's really what I'm concerned, I guess, would be the proper word. I guess I don't know if that's the correct word, but that's I guess that's really what I'm focused on at the moment, because it does seem like does seem like that's the major talk right now, especially with recent news. Yeah.
I'm glad you mentioned with Universal, AMC, and Regal Theaters. So, based on a certain comment and the streaming success of Troy's World Tour, AMC Theaters and Regal Theaters have decided to shut down and not release any more Universal movies towards their theaters. So, when I think about that, let me just read a statement from the CEO of NBC Universal says. So they says when the theaters start to open back up, we will release movies not only theatrical and on digital release at the same time. So back to a previous episode that I mentioned when they first said the news that we're gonna release certain low budget movies and go straight to streaming, and for those movies that like big budget, those are the ones that are gonna go straight into theaters. But when Universal put out their news saying like, oh, we're gonna do theatrical and streaming dates at the same time, I don't know how you AMC and Regal took offense to it. I don't know in regards to the streaming success of Trolls World Tour. I don't know what's the deal by that. But personally, I think AMC and Regal Theater is gonna lose a lot of money because when you think about Universal and you think about the Jurassic Park franchises, the Fast and the Furious franchises, and the Despicable Me franchises, those are the ones that puts tickets that gives you money not only in the box office but like keeping your business keeping intact of people going to see these movies. And I don't know, I think that gives a wide open opportunity to bring back drive-in movie theaters, because like we don't have that much drive-in movie theaters. We have one in Fort Lauderdale, there's one in Tampa, and there are two other ones that I get in Florida. So that's my opinion on that. So what are you guys thoughts and opinions on that one?
Well, pretty much what I think is, theaters are always going to be the nostalgic feel of movies. But I mean, with the coronavirus and everything going on, the studios, Hollywood, even the Academy, they have to, prepare for what's coming up next. What's coming up next is, like, Daniel said earlier, this is a world-changing event. In order for you to make money, you're going to have to change the way that you do business. Now, people are always going to want to go to theaters just because of the nostalgia feeling of it, and you want to take your family to the theater. But I mean, giving the opportunity for people to actually feel safe at home and still have that movie night, experience, I think it's something that's really great on both parts. I mean, when the Trolls World Tour came out, I was there the first night. I put my daughter there. We had a movie night. We set up popcorn. We turned the lights down. We did the whole theater experience minus the theater. We stayed safe, and it was a great time. I mean, my daughter didn't notice any difference between being in the theater or not. Obviously, she's only 4, but I mean, I think this is something that's been coming for a while now. I mean, pre-COVID, I mean, theaters have streaming is taking over. I mean, it's the future. It's what it is. And especially now with this and the social distancing, and then once all this thing does end, people are still gonna not, be as they were before. Crowded places are gonna be a little bit different. I mean, the way you see movies in theaters will probably change. You're gonna probably have space seating, and then if you look at it, studios are starting to see this big picture to the fact where even the Academy Awards are now going to include films that don't go to theater, that go straight to streaming. They weren't doing that before. And I just think that that's just a precursor to what's to come. And, in all honesty, I think it's a great chance for independent filmmakers like ourselves to get in there and actually start getting some better recognition. But obviously, I think, eventually the theaters will reopen. But, I mean, having this streaming and giving you the option of either going to the theater or staying home to watch the movie, I think it's a win-win, because I mean, either way, you're going to go to the theater if you can. But I mean, at first, if you can't go to the theater, you might as well make some money and throw it out on streaming. I mean, Trolls World Tour did really, really good on streaming. So I mean, I think that's just a precursor of what's to come, and it's going to be more normalized in the coming months.
I have to disagree with you, to be honest. Like,
What?
I have to do
What?
I have to do a hard disagree with you. Here's the thing. Yes, World Tour did good, but you have to remember it's because of the situation we're in. And under any circumstances, that movie would not do as good as it did. The first one barely broke even, I think. The only reason it's doing that is because of the situation we're in. Okay, that's for starters. And I think my problem with the comments in general, I think I see it from AMC's perspective, I guess. The problem with the comment is the fact that you're releasing the movie one at the same time, both on the platform and on theaters. And it's a whole disagreement that I forget what movie had it. It was like in the past year, but it was a movie that was trying to get an Oscar contender for something. I think it did get nominated. I can't remember which movie it is right now. But they had released it on theaters, and then like a month later, they released it onto the streaming service. And it's kind of that same problem. You're releasing it. I'm not saying you can't do it, but it's one of those things that I think you should choose if you release it on streaming or in theaters. In my opinion. And yeah, it's like one of those things. Everybody's using World Tour as an example. My one counter to that's like, yes, but remember when it's being released. It's being released in the midst of all this chaos. Of course, it's going to be successful, especially when you can't go out in theaters to watch it. You know, same thing with Bad Education that's coming out. The reason it's being successful is because it's coming out right now in the midst of this chaos. It's not because I feel like that's kind of it's a kind of a no argument. And yes, theaters. I'm not going to deny with you, theaters are on the decline, especially right. And this is going to hit them hard. I'm not denying that, but I honestly have to go with AMC on this. It's like it's kind of unfair in my opinion. So I think that it's either choose one or the other in this case. So yeah, for me, it's
I just think to answer your point, I just think that it's a little different in the sense that, you know, Universal makes the film, AMC plays the film, so does Regal Cinema, but that's just
right.
it's just a different outlet. So I mean,
No,
it's
no,
up
of
to the
course.
studio whether they say, okay, we want to give it to you and you, or you and you, and not you. But I mean, if they tell you we're gonna give it to you AMC, and you can either make money with it, or we'll just put it somewhere else. If you don't want to play it, then you're just gonna lose out on money. I mean, they're still gonna make their money regardless. You know, and if with people staying home, and then, like, you know, this isn't gonna go away anytime soon. So I mean,
Right.
I honestly think that, like I said, I mean, theater is always going to be around just because of the event thing, but I just think it's you know, it's more feasible for them on a revenue standpoint to have it, you know, as many outlets as you possibly can. Now, I would say probably maybe for certain films, maybe you don't do it, like, you know, something like World Tour. Like, obviously, yeah, if you release it in theaters or you release it at home, you're gonna get the same pretty much numbers regardless. You
Right.
know, but I mean, something bigger, like, you know, like an end game, like the Avatar, stuff like that. Like, if you
Right.
do something like streaming wise, and you release it both platforms, then something like that, I do believe might give them some losses as to if it was just in theaters. But I mean, for some smaller productions, like for example, like the World Tours and stuff like that, I think it'll be positive for them. You
It's
know.
funny because me and Trico were talking about this during the last podcast we did, and that's something like we kind of talked about. You know, release the bigger movies out in theaters and like the smaller ones, and you know, for streaming. I think that's something like I would agree to more. But if you just put like every single movie both at the same time,
No, that's impossible. No, yeah,
no, like
that's
Furious, what is it? Furious 8, Furious 9, whichever one, because I know that's a Universal movie. They're like, oh, we could release that both on streaming and for AMC, and they're like, no, screw that. And that's
well, to be honest with you, I think whether they release Fast 9 or 10, whatever it is, on theater or streaming, that movie's not gonna do that.
it's gonna suck either way, but whatever.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But
That
that's
movie,
one of those but that's one of those movies you also have to recognize. It's like on that end game Avatar level where you know it's gonna
no,
be
I mean
well,
maybe
it's gonna
a
it's gonna
few
make
a few chapters ago, maybe a few chapters ago.
it's gonna, just that that type of movie makes a lot of money. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. But I mean, yeah, I mean, to that point, I do agree wholeheartedly that, yeah, the bigger blockbuster films definitely don't do that both, because you're gonna do yourself a disservice and you're gonna lose money. You know, you're definitely
Right.
gonna lose money. But for like I said, for like the smaller productions, I think it'll be good. I mean, and then it's up to AMC really, and stuff like that. It's like, dude, you want to make some money off of this, or you want to make no money off of this. You
Right.
know, that it's gonna come down to that pretty much. You know, so
True.
if they don't want to show them, you know what? Hey, we'll just give it to somebody else. We're still gonna make our money.
True.
All right. Tanisha, what is your thoughts and opinion on that?
Okay. My mute button was acting stupid. But my take on it is basically, you know, what both of them said was like spot on. I just basically the same thing. If AMC chooses not to take it, then that's them losing out on money. That's their business. I just hope they don't cry river, you know, when all these other movie theaters are booming back up and taking the because I just feel like once all this is over and theaters are able to open back up and go back to, you know, making money and doing what they do, because Universal movies, that's a big thing. And every day Universal is coming out with a different movie and a big banger or something like that. So if AMC chooses not to take Universal movies because of that comment, then, you know, that's just them. That's just their mistake. Now, as far as like streaming platforms, yes, I do agree. Streaming platforms, especially Netflix. I mean, before this pandemic, Netflix was already booming. This pandemic just gave Netflix an extra dose of what it was already getting. I don't know too much about Hulu because I don't really fool with Hulu because they don't be having all my shows that I be wanting to watch. So I stopped fooling with Hulu. But as far as like Netflix and even Amazon Prime is even getting a dose of that too, of what Netflix is getting. So I think after this, yeah, people are still going to be home streaming a little bit just to stay safe, just to be cautious. But and this is what takes me back to my question that I said earlier. When all this is said and done, are we going to continue to, you know, practice this social distancing and wearing masks and staying home to stream movies instead of going to the movie theaters? For how long? Because, you know, every time something happens, it's like, well, do the safety precautions, and then after a few months, it's like everything goes back to normalcy. So that this same topic poses that same question. Once all this is said and done, when it comes to movie theaters and everything like that, is it gonna last for like a short amount of time and then everybody is like, to hell with masks, to hell with social distancing, or is this something we're gonna keep up? That's my take.
Yeah. But other than that, you know, let's move forward to the next topic. But Alonso got a lot to know, but he'll be back with us soon. But let's move on to the next topic. So I think it was yesterday or Tuesday. The Academy officially announced that they're going to be allowing and accepting streaming and video on demand movies into their Oscars category catalog. So this is their statement as regards to accepting streaming and video on demand movies. Eligibility rules for film opening on streaming services and video on demand are being temporarily altered to allow these films to qualify, even if not first appearing within a standard 7-day theatrical qualifying run or day and date. To be eligible for this year's Oscar race, however, films still will have to be qualified by being made available on the Academy exclusive streaming site within the 60-day of streaming or VOD release. It must have previously intended for theatrical release. Now, when I think about this, we already knew that that streaming was going to take over. Like, look for example, what we had for this year's Oscars. We had The Irishman. We had Marriage Story. We had a couple of other movies from Netflix or Amazon Prime got nominated for either Best Picture or other different category, and also got nominated at the Golden Globes. So we all knew this was bound to happen, but due to the current circumstances that we have right now, like, they have no other choice to accept like streaming movies and video on demand movies, because we only had like a few movies that was in the theaters before the pandemic started. Like, for example, Sonic and Hedgehog, Birds of Prey,
Upgrade,
Bad Boys for Life, The Gentleman, the Invisible Man. Yeah, like those movies was lucky enough to be in theaters, like, and was successfully, like, before the pandemic started. And now, like Tieshia said, like, with Netflix releasing movies like on and on and on. So that could be a huge success for Netflix and also for Amazon Prime to release more movies and to not only to be able to get accepted into the Oscars race category. And also we have got another news that the new Scooby-Doo movie is going to be go to streaming instead of the theatrical release. The new Disney movie Artemis Fowl going straight to Disney Plus. I don't know how that movie's going to go, but we'll just have to see when it comes out on Disney Plus. But and also another thing that they also announced change the ruling of the sound category, which means that normally it would be best sound editing and best sound mixing. So I don't know if they combine those two together to order save time for broadcast, or that was their intentional or the sounds idea that's like, oh, let's just combine that with one together and just say best sound. So other than that, what are your guys' thoughts and opinions of the new rules of allowing streaming and VOD movies into the Academy race, and also the new category rule of best sound only, and not just sound editing and sound mixing?
Well, like you said, it was inevitable because I mean the alternative is to have Sonic for Best Picture 2022. I'm just saying, and Jim Carrey for Best Actor. Jesus Christ! I mean, if we didn't change that, we'd have what, like Invisible Woman, Onward, Sonic. What else actually came out? Bad Boys 3. Like it'd be an interesting competition. That's all I'm gonna say. But no, in all seriousness, no, it was inevitable. And like you said, they've been doing this for the past 2 years really, because you had Roma that started off, and then last year with Marriage Story and Irishman, and then obviously the documentaries. There's usually one or two from Netflix or Hulu or Amazon Prime or whatever. So like I said, it's always inevitable. The one thing I am kind of curious about is the fact that they said temporary. I don't think it's gonna be temporary per se. I think it's just gonna get bigger and better. I just think I'd have to read it myself just to make sure I get the language correct or I understand the language better. But that's the one thing I'd have a little bit of question about is temporary. Like, what do they mean by temporary? But past that, I think it's just gonna evolve, and kind of go from there. I do think that following this, the rules may change slightly, but it'll be still more along the same lines. So yeah, and for Scoob, fun. I really want to see that movie. And as for the sound thing, I honestly have no opinion because I don't really know anything about sounds when it comes to editing or mixing or anything like that.
Well, I mean, just to tackle really fast the sound part, I mean, sound mixing and sound editing is pretty much the same terminology. It's the same thing. It's just different words. Editing and mixing, it's pretty much mixing is editing in music. So I mean, for them just to combine that award, it's just whatever.
Yeah.
But I mean, as for the best picture and the stuff like that for the streaming movies, I think that just opens up more
Sure.
of a platform for independent filmmakers to go ahead and actually get their projects get some recognition. And then also I figured this is going to help a lot for like these indie projects to get picked up by some studios, because they're going to be looking, obviously there's nothing going on, there's nothing being produced. So these smaller production companies like ours that can actually produce films with small cast and crew, I mean, some of these studios are going to be looking to pick some of that stuff up, just not to stay out of the loop in the best picture category. Because I mean, eventually, with technology the way it is, and with equipment being so easily available for anyone, a lot more independents are going to, make waves in what's the Academy Awards now. As for the temporary thing, I think it's going to be, it's kind of like a trial thing, just to see that they don't get, if eventually it turns out that, maybe less, for example, in 2 years, 3 years from now, every single nominee in the best picture category is some sort of independent film that's just gone to streaming that has not been, theatrically released or as part of a big studio. They're going to have to change it up again, because obviously, big Hollywood's going to have to make their money and get their recognition. I mean,
Right.
But honestly, I think that, giving this to streaming platform, I mean, it opens the doors up for all filmmakers to get recognition.
Tieshia, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think right now with how this is going about, I'm an independent filmmaker, so I know it's good for me. This is my time to, like, you know, get some good footage, edit it, and see if I can send it off to, you know, to get streamed or whatever. But as far as like when it comes to like the big productions, because they are on hold, I'm sure right now they are looking for like these smaller I can't speak. These smaller productions to take on to, like, you know, try to get their way in, because if let's say if this goes on until next year and they're not able to start production yet, now it's like, okay, we're out of the loop. We need to get ourselves on into something. Let's see if we can find any small productions that we can hop onto to stay connected, to stay, you know, so we can stay on the face of the earth and not just be demolished. So I think like right now, this I think like right now, this is the perfect time for us independent and smaller productions. What's his name? Jorge, that's what his name say on the Zoom. George, I don't know. Daniel,
Dan,
that's
yeah,
Daniel.
I'm using my dad's computer. That's why. Sorry. I'm using my dad's
Hey.
computer.
But yeah, like he was saying, like I would have to read the article myself just to get a clear understanding of what they're talking about, because I don't want to, you know, mix up any terms or anything. I just want to have a better understanding of what they're saying before I can actually give my whole opinion on it. But yeah, that's my take.
Yeah, but we'll just have to see. I know the when it comes to like the academy, they mostly focus on movies that comes out like in the fall season. That's where most of the movies get get the opportunity of getting nominated. So there's a lot of when I looked at their predictions, most of their predictions were movies that was coming out in the fall season. So we just got to see what they're gonna go from there. And moving on to our next topic. So, well, when we first talk about the production getting shut down and everything, but there's a new article saying that Iceland could help Hollywood or open up production. So let me just go off by the article that I just reading by here. So there was a couple of films that were filmed at Iceland, like for example, the second Thor, Game of Thrones, and Prometheus. And another thing is that Iceland, they have 0 cases right now. There's along with Iceland and New Zealand and South Korea. So there's been a lot of productions that have been shot at Iceland, and then they have a certain military base of keeping everything as far as base cap and everything is concerned, as far as like production, experienced crew members, and insurance policy and everything when it comes to public health concern and everything. So, and other than that, they from the LA Times, when they published this article, they say Iceland could be the benefactor of helping Hollywood get back to work, and all the film commissions and productions worldwide may have be touring and taking these advantages of getting more productions to Iceland and like try to finish production as they possibly can. So, do you think this will be the best solution of going to Iceland, try to get your passport and everything to try to shoot there, or what would be the better solution in regards to towards that?
As far as Iceland, first of all, if they ain't got no cases, you know what? Never mind. I'm not gonna even talk about that. I'm not gonna even talk about that. But so I don't know how I would feel about that, especially if they don't have no cases. Then that will go to say that if that's the case and they do take productions to Iceland, then that would require rigorous testing. Like anybody that's on crew, that's acting, whatever they're doing with that production, they need to verify that everybody is tested. Because if one gets through the loops and they go to Iceland, then Iceland gonna be just like us and every other country that was affected by the coronavirus. So I think that when it comes to that, a lot of protocols should be enforced before taking that leap to Iceland. And I think Iceland itself should, enforce some protocols and ground rules before allowing that to happen. Just because you don't want them, okay, I understand, they're willing to help out, but they also got to be concerned for the safety of their country, for the safety of the people that's living there. If they have no known cases and nobody has this virus, are they sure? Like, are they really sure that they want to bring people from other countries who already went through the virus and they're bringing people on their land? So when it comes to that, like, I think Iceland and the production companies, before they even step foot on trying to, go into that production part, I think a part of their pre-production would consist of a lot of testing, and depending on how big their cast and crew is, that's going to be a lot, and that's going to take some time. So that's my take.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know about Iceland too much, because I mean, regardless, even if they have 0.0 cases, I'm not getting on a plane anytime soon to go anywhere.
Yeah.
Whether they're testing, whether they're not testing, I don't care. I ain't going anywhere, especially anywhere near an airport. So Iceland can stay filming all they want and send us the movies if they want, but I ain't going to Iceland. I mean, if they have protocols that they're putting in place so they can film stuff, it doesn't really benefit us in any way because we're going through something completely different. So, I mean, yeah, I mean, Iceland's a great thing if you're stationed or based in Iceland, but I mean, for us here, I really think it does nothing for us. I mean, it's going to take a while, regardless of where you're at in the world. But I mean, it's just going to take time, and it's something that you have to slowly, gradually get things back to where they are. And until, certain things don't happen, we're pretty much stuck for now. I mean, that's basically what it boils down to. We're just, we just got to wait and see, and just hopefully, this thing is over sooner than later. But I mean, I ain't going to Iceland. No, sir.
I ain't going there either. It's too cold up there. Iceland is nothing but ice. Us Americans don't fit in cold weather.
No.
Us Miamians just don't fit there.
Yeah, I'm from Miami. I ain't know when the hell I'm going to Iceland.
I was in Iowa, but I ain't going to Iceland.
Daniel.
I get cold with just a fan on. Screw that.
Yeah.
Daniel, your thoughts about it?
Honestly, like, I want to call bullshit. They don't have any corona cases. That's the only thing I'm gonna say. But past that, like, honestly speaking, after all this is over, I could see them helping us jumpstart. But it's one of those things, like, how many of us? It's one of those things, like, it's gonna take a long ass time for any of us to, like, really want to come out, of anywhere because of social distancing. So you could try helping us, but we'll see how that turns out, basically. Especially because we're stubborn. So yeah.
Yeah. Besides, how many Viking movies or like medieval movies can you possibly make?
Well, you have the whole you have a whole series literally called Viking, though. You do have that one series that's literally just called Viking. That's what started.
Yeah, but that's it. But everybody's gonna go over to Iceland and start filming medieval movies and Viking movies.
Well, no, because don't you have Lord of the Rings? Aren't they gonna do their own Amazon Prime TV show or something like that too?
I mean, go to HBO Max.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure they're gonna make a couple Prometheus movies on top of all that, which is shot in Iceland. So like, there's stuff that you can shoot in Iceland. So I'm just saying, like, the odds of us wanting to go there though is a completely different story.
Nah, I'm good.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I don't know how that's gonna happen. I don't know how that's gonna solve us and Hollywood's problem of trying to get production in. I don't know how that's gonna work, but
they want money.
If they think it's the solution, but I think that will be some real restriction and guidelines towards that, because we have to be careful if they either consider opening Iceland for us and like try to be like, oh, let's start production there. Like, there's gonna be some strict line if that really is gonna happen. But
I think they need to tell us how to get down to 0 cases of coronavirus,
right,
and not worry so much about movies.
Exactly. Like how they slipped through the cracks of not having.
How you guys got 0 cases, man? Oh, how?
But nobody goes to Iceland though. Who goes to Iceland? Who?
Vikings.
Ice
Like,
the ice giants from Thor.
I don't know. I just know I won't be hopping on no plane for no production in Iceland. I won't even
I'm
consider.
with you. I'm with you.
I won't even consider I don't even care how much you pay me. I'm not going to Iceland. That's a whole third world country. And then I got to be on a plane with a bunch of people I don't know. Oh, no. Mm-mm.
I ain't even going public. Screw that.
Sure. I ain't going to Publix. I'm going to go to Iceland.
Oh my God, bro. But yeah, going on to our last topic of the day. So, Florida Film Commissions we released a statement in regards to production guidelines for our safeties, saying no directors' chairs, no trailers, clear barriers for actors and crew more. And here's another policy and detail they put out. Attempt to limit number of people in passenger vans or to 2 passengers in one time. Again, that's regards to transportation of transporting actors from base camp to the shooting location. Use gloves and masks when looking through garments in rental houses or retail stores. Defective jewelry and glasses in between use. Face shield should be worn by makeup artists and hairstylists. Possibly assign brushes and combs to each actor so not to cross communication. I don't know what that means. Label mics with the name of the user. Utilize boom only audio when possible. Have one individual put up and take down all location signs. Distribute hard copy scripts and size. Disposal of paper after each reading. Consider utilizing larger tents with portable ACs or heat in rental trailers. Eliminate opening calls and give everyone assigned windows to arrive. I gave that means towards the casting company. When production starts, the director should limit takes and make more sets more efficient and resort to less standing around and making consistency time. So in regards to those restrictions and guidelines, do you agree with some of those statements? And what will be your rules and guidelines that you want to put out?
Well, there's no way in hell I'm going to film anything without my director's chair. That's first of all.
First, who the hell is me?
Number two.
I'm kidding.
No, number two. I'm not gonna minimize takes. Like if I feel like my takes wasn't good enough, I'm gonna keep reshooting until I get the take that I want.
Well, what are they gonna do? They're gonna limit you to like the Clint Eastwood thing. Okay, you got 4 takes and that's it, and I'll move on. No, you gotta get what you
one.
No, you got like 3. You gotta say 3.
I get that. Like you got one shot. If you don't like that shot, oh well, that's your
Yeah, it's like, oh no, he had a booger in his nose. Now we gotta, CGI, get it out in CGI, man. We can't do nothing about it. We gotta move on.
My first question is, who the hell's making films at this moment? That's my first question. For them
I made a film.
Well, yeah, but it's in your own home. Yeah, but this is in your own home, boy.
I made a film yesterday. I made a film about nature.
There you go. You see?
Well, no, actually, I need to shut up because I actually do know people who are actually going out right now. Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, I have friends of mine in the industry that are actually still working. I mean, it's pretty much down to a skeleton crew. It's just necessary. People need to be there. A lot of people wearing different hats.
Yeah.
But I mean, as far as guidelines and stuff like that, I mean, you just got to stay safe. I mean, and then once it's safe enough for you to actually be around people, because I mean, in this kind of industry, it's very hard, especially when you're on set and you're doing stuff, just like she said, you're in that 6 feet, you're inside that
bubble.
Personal bubble of other people. So, it's going to be pretty much impossible to do anything.
Exactly.
And then especially, people and stuff, like, I mean, I'm at work now and I was, I had my mask on and all that stuff. And, there was a dude that was like 15 feet away from me. He was coughing and I was just like,
Yeah,
You know?
that was the one of the things like if you coughing, if you know you're sick, and like you can't go to work, man, like you'll make other people sick. Yeah.
Yeah, but the thing is, sometimes you're not even sick. You know, sometimes you get a little tickle in your throat. You have a little bit of allergies. You know, it's not that you're sick and you need to stay home. You can definitely go to work if you have allergies and stuff like that. But I mean, just the fact that you cough sometimes or you sneeze, people look at you different now. You know, people used to say "bless you" when you used to sneeze and cough. Now you sneeze or cough, and people are like,
Coronavirus.
"Yeah, like what's your problem, man?"
Yeah.
People used to say "bless you." Now you sneeze, and be like, "What's your problem?" You know, it's gonna take time. It's gonna take time. There's no other way to boil it down. It's just gonna take some time for people to get back out and start doing things, man.
I mean,
time will tell.
I mean, as far as like with me, when I do my productions, before coronavirus even was the hot topic in the planet, my team and I, we was already when we get to the location, we already sanitizing everything down. We already wiping stuff down. We already cleaning up, making sure that, we done hit every corner before we even start production just to be safe. So with coronavirus being here, it's not like we wasn't doing that before. We were already doing that prior to, and my crew already know. I don't care. I would Lysol you. So before coronavirus was even a thing, they cough or sneeze, I'm like this in their face, throwing some Lysol on them. So, I was already in the practicing of the precautionary measures of staying safe. And the other thing that I like about my crew is that everybody is clean. Like, we're all clean freaks. Like, we are all clean freaks. Like, we sit there and we would clean to the T until we're satisfied. Now, as far as the guidelines, because I actually saw that article last night, some of them I don't agree with. Like he said, I'm not gonna be on set without my chair, number one. Number two, you're not about to have me minimize my takes. What are you gonna do? You're gonna have the film production police there and say, all right, now you guys, that was 4 takes, no more after that. I hope you got the best one.
Yeah.
And
then that means you gotta have one extra person on set.
Exactly. So it's like, come on. And then on top of that, my productions are small anyway. Like, it's no more than 15 of us on set regardless. So as far as that, it's like some of those rules are kind of pointless, because in order to make a production work, you have to be within 6 feet or less of each other to make it work. You can't set up a light. If two people are setting up a light, you can't have one person holding the C-stand and then the other person way over here 6 feet apart holding the light. How's that gonna happen? Or when you're trying to put a flag on the C-stand, how is that gonna happen? Sometimes them flags are heavy. One person cannot handle that flag by themselves. So again, regardless, that 6 feet in production, it's not gonna happen. It cannot work. It's not possible. Or a production just won't happen. And I know no director is going to sit there and say, well, because you guys have to be this close to each other, we're just not going to use that light. I never met one director like that. That's my take.
Forget illumination. Just shoot it.
Yeah.
Shoot it. One guerrilla style. One guy, one camera. That's it.
Like, well, yeah. When I saw while we got the time, when I saw these guidelines, I'm like, this is gonna be extremely hard. Like, not only for actors, but as far as crew members, like when it comes to like certain like departments and like all the stuff, like say like for the makeup artist, that makeup artist gotta wear a mask at all times, and like this that stay 6 feet apart. Like when it comes maintain her makeup stations and everything else. And like you mentioned, like with the electric and this and being a grip, like you can't hold it stand. Like one person can't hold it stand unless you want to be Superman or Hulk or that stuff like that. But it takes at least 2 person to like to help to set everything up. And in regards to like the transportation 2 parts, I can understand that. Like I can understand that because like there are multiple times that we had to take 2 parts at a time, or like it really depends on who really needs to be on set or what takes are we actually shooting. And for crew, for crew, they can wear masks all the time and gloves. That's highly reasonable. Yeah, that part we can understand. But as far as like having one take, that's like saying, oh, you really need to know your lines, like you really need to know your scenes, to order to make this one take work. Cause like if you screw up or mess up work, then we're gonna have a crappy movie. And like
the thing is that when it comes down to filmmaking, you know, with what we do, like it's creativity. So you can have everything planned out, and then when you get on set, you're like, you know what? You tilt the camera a little bit this way more. You know, give me a little bit. Let me try this different shot here now. You know, if you have to do everything by the book or by what you pre-produced, and then you know just get to set, you got 3 takes. You got to get it in, get out, get done. You know, that takes the creativity out of making a movie. Like you're not being creative anymore. You're pretty much. I mean, even though you do have creativity in pre-production, you know, 9 out of 10 times when you're on set, you're tweaking things here and there, even everything that you pre-produced. Right. So to take away that takes away a big part of your creativity, and you know, it takes away everybody's creativity from in that point. I mean, and
like 9 times out of 10, whatever you do in pre-production ain't what you go do on production day.
Exactly.
It's not there, because whatever you saw in pre-production, now that you're actually hands-on and actually filming, you're like, okay, no, I don't like that anyway. We're gonna redo it. And each take gets different. Each take is something different. It's not like it's the same thing, because take 1 may be, okay, our actors was just warming up, and take 2, they were still warming up. Now take 3 is, okay, they done said something funny. It wasn't a part of the script, but I like it, but we're gonna do another take. And take 4 may be, okay, well, you guys did this together, that was right, but it wasn't necessarily what I want, so now we gotta do another take. So trying to limit to
you're out of takes, gotta move on.
Like, listen, sometimes
you're out of takes. You're out of takes. Move on.
Sometimes it takes at least 8 takes to get that one good shot, and then when you go to editing or whatever, then that's when you can put all the takes that you have together and make it one clip. But that takes away like the passion. Like if we just gotta say, okay, we gotta get this, and this, it takes away the passion out of it. It takes away the fun,
the creativity. Like, you're pretty much like
you're a robot.
Yeah, you're being a robot. I ain't gonna be no robot for nobody.
Not if you pay me enough, sure, maybe.
I'll make you a robot in the next movie.
I think they need to go back and retweak some of them guidelines and really sit down and think. I mean, they're filmmakers themselves, right? They're in the film commission office giving them guidelines. I would think that, you know, they
know how to make films.
Right.
I think they're just trying to be, I mean, in all reality, they're trying to be helpful in a way. But I mean, you got to look at it as
so disconnected. Though, just like some of the rules make sense. Like mask and all that, but they're like, oh, one take. No, screw you. Do you know how to make films? No, screw you. But one question is, how are you gonna police that type of stuff? Oh, you can't have a director share. Oh, you can only do the one scene. You know, how are you gonna police that? Are you really gonna have an extra person on set, or go risk the virus more or whatever? Like, that's
like counterproductive to what they're trying to do, is having another person on set.
That's what I'm trying to say. How are they gonna try to police this? It makes no sense. If you're saying this as a recommendation, sure. But if you're saying this as a law per se, then no, screw you. You just no way to even police this to begin with. So you know.
Right.
The other part of the sentence, what's the deal with the chair?
Yeah.
I guess.
Why can you have your chair? Like,
because I'm gonna be able to sit on it. Because another person's gonna be able to sit on it. I guess, you know.
Nobody sits on my chair. Nobody sits in the director's chair.
Unless you go have a crew member that like just wipe it down just in case, like, if they that would totally make sense. If you just
like wiper,
that would.
Wiper. I'm here. What do you want me to wipe?
Wiper, come wipe my chair.
All right, give me the towel.
If you need to wipe the camera, that's fine. Just do that. That's what hand sanitizer or wipe was for. So Like that would make more sense. Like
I just think they're getting loopy. They're getting loopy like everybody else is getting loopy and being, tired of being cooped up, and so they're trying to get things open, trying to get things started again. But they're just tossing shit up in the air.
Yeah, so that whole you gotta be within 6 feet of each other. Well okay, if we gotta be within 6 feet, then my grip and my gaffer can't come to work today. I'll see you guys. like I don't know. I just like, as far as like the gloves and stuff, I mean, hey, grip and gaffers, anyways, they've been wearing gloves regardless.
Always wearing gloves all the time.
But I mean, as far as like so yeah, some of them rules like the mask, I understand, being, sanitizing everything, I understand that. But that 6 feet rule and that, you're limited to 1 to 3 takes rule. And then it's like, if you're bringing somebody to police the set, we don't know them. Majority of 9 times out of 10, when you have a production company, everybody that's in your crew, you know them personally.
Right.
Oh yeah, definitely.
You know them personally. Like you guys already have that bond, that connection. You guys know each other. So bringing somebody that you don't know to police the set, now you're risking yourself and your crew at the same time because you don't know this person.
Not to mention they're gonna be hated right off the bat because because their main goal is to basically supervise you. Fuck you. Like, especially filmmakers are like, we don't want any supervision after you. Get the hell out.
Who are you? Are you the police guy? All right, go stand over there, man.
6 feet away.
Go stand over there, man. 6 feet away.
6 feet away, behind the door, inside.
Sorry.
You can watch out the window, but just have the blinds closed.
Here, come watch my director's chair while I go work.
Yeah.
All right. But yeah. I sent the link of the guidelines so you guys can check it out and give y'all basic opinions to someone, and you guys can talk about with that. So we just have to see if this thing gonna stay permanent. I don't think it's gonna be permanent. I think that's just for like, if we're gonna go, when we do go back out and like do our own thing, that's just gonna be the restrict rule, like just like stay into their guidelines and try to stay healthy and like all this stuff. But that's it. That's in their rules. So we may not agree with some rule, but we'll just we don't know if this thing their guidelines and rules are going to be permanent. We don't know if this thing is actually going to be permanent.
Right. That's why I keep saying, when all this is said and done, are we going to be following these guidelines rules for 3 to 4 months, and then after 3 to 4 months, the hell with the guideline rules?
Yeah, forget it.
That always happens. They plan these rules, they start these rules, and then once everything is said and done, like 3 to 4 months later, like the restrictions, nobody cares. The rules are out the window. Nobody is really enforcing them. Nothing. So it's like,
we're Miami. It's not gonna take 3 to 4 months. It's gonna take maybe 3 to 4 seconds before we're like, screw this.
Oh yeah.
We're Miami. We don't really care. After a while, we're self-aware on top of all that. We really don't care.
Right. You see everybody on the beach just the other day. So,
it's like the beach is open, and they're like, yeah, we had another spike the next day, but they're like, screw it. We're Miami.
But you know what I think it is? A lot of us down here, like especially South Florida, we're like, you know what? It's the flu. It's the common flu. It's just a bad case of a sinus infection. We'll be fine. Yeah. 9 times out of 10, majority of us are already immune to it because we have sinus infections.
No, I mean, there's been so many memes about that alone. We're like, oh, the rest of the country preparing like it's hurricane season, and for us, another Tuesday.
Yeah, seriously.
It's like, oh, hurricane season's coming. Okay, cool. So, whatever. You know,
right.
It's like,
you want to go to the bar tonight? All right, cool, let's go.
Right. Okay, so yeah, another Andrew's coming, but we'll meet you at the bar then. Cool, whatever. It's like, we don't really care. Like, we really don't care.
Here's a guideline. Here's a guideline everybody should follow. Don't film anything until this shit's over with.
Well, listen.
Says the one who has a film coming out today. Okay, cool.
Yeah, but like you said, I did it by myself in my house with like my 3 family members that live with me. So it's like.
Fair enough.
I'm starting that. Look, I don't care. I'm gonna start that production like late August, early September. I'm sorry, my crew, we ready to get back to work. Okay.
Oh no, yeah, trust me, I'm dying to get. I mean, the reason I filmed that short film that I did by myself in my house because I was getting like cabin fever. Like I need to film something. I need to,
Like
So I did it.
I told somebody the other day, I said, I now feel how drug addicts feel when they have that withdrawal moment.
Right.
That's what I was going through. So, and I was going through it because I actually went outside yesterday and filmed plants in the sky and the sun and the empty park.
Oh,
Like,
at least you get a lot of B footage for other projects.
On my phone at that. I did an iPhone film.
There you go.
Well, iPhones are better than some cameras at this point.
Like, that's how you know it's time. It's just slow.
Yeah.
But you guys, I have to go because I have to get ready for another conference call. I guess today everybody want to do conference calls with me. But it was great talking to you guys.
Pleasure to meet you.
Pleasure to
Same
meet
to
you
you
too.
guys.
Yeah, and speaking on that, that was our topics that we talked for today. Let us know in the comment section below. What do you guys think on these guidelines and restrictions in regards to like productions getting resumed when this pandemic is over? Let us know in the comment section below. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe, and hit the notification bell when new episode upload. Don't forget to follow these filmmakers' social medias and their videos when they about their projects and their upcoming projects. So let me just say, guys, thank you for coming on this episode and speaking your minds and your opinions on everything that's going on with Hollywood and productions and everything. I want to say thank you for coming on board. Yeah.
Thank you for having me, man.
All right. Other than that, this is Trico, and we're signing off. Peace.